Following several 911 calls, officers were advised just before 9 p.m. of a man in an apparent mental crisis. He was reported to be jumping in front of cars on I-10 near Lockwood, and then a few minutes later he was reported to be in the 800 block of Gazin Street.
Houston 911, any medical, police, or fire?
Police?
This is Haley. What is the address of your emergency?
It's by I-10. We're on the freeway, and there was a man on the freeway, like walked like a little bit behind exiting Lockwood.
Okay, what direction of travel were y'all on going towards or away from downtown?
Towards downtown.
And he was on the freeway?
Yes.
Houston 911, any medical, police, or fire?
I believe police, ambulance, or whatever y'all
Sound like Houston medical, you're not being transferred to Houston medical, let's send police too.
Houston Fire Medical, what's location?
Almost of I-10, before you get to Lockwood, going to downtown, there's a man in the freeway, and I don't know if a car hit him already or what, but there's a guy screaming in the freeway, and we almost hit him.
Is he on the freeway?
Yes, ma'am.
Come on.
Houston 911, any medical, police, or fire?
No, I need police. I'm on I-10. There's a guy trying to jump in front of cars. He's taunting cars. He's throwing himself in front of cars. I'm going towards downtown. He just crossed over. I tried to stop him, and he crossed over to the other side. It looks like he was having a mental breakdown. He just kept trying to throw himself in front of cars.
Houston 911, any medical, police, or fire?
Police.
This is Erica. What's the address of your emergency?
Well, it's not my address, but I'm at Gazin Street, and two houses.
Officers first tried talking with him. When that proved unsuccessful, they then deployed their soft impact weapons, which are bean bags fired from a shotgun, and tasers in an effort to stop him from harming himself.
Calm down, man.
We're going to approach him. He's having some type of crisis or something.
The air minimize.
He's holding on to something.
725, what was that location?
Even after giving Mr. Chavez repeated verbal warnings, deploying multiple soft impact rounds and two tasers, Chavez was still armed with a metal object. He began moving quickly toward HPD Sergeant LeBlanc and a Precinct 6 deputy. Fearing for his and Deputy Garduno's safety, Sergeant LeBlanc discharged his duty weapon twice, striking Mr. Chavez. Precinct 6 Deputy Garduno also deployed his taser. Officers then immediately attempted to detain Mr. Chavez and render aid. As they did so, an HPD officer intentionally dropped her deployed taser to keep her fellow officers from becoming entangled in the wires. Due to Mr. Chavez's actions, the officers were unable to detain him and render aid. They then spent approximately 10 minutes trying to convince Mr. Chavez to let them help him. Still armed with the metal object, Mr. Chavez refused all such attempts and continued to harm himself and threaten officers. Also, during this time, another sergeant deployed soft impact rounds on 3 separate occasions when Mr. Chavez attempted to crawl out of a ditch. At one point, Mr. Chavez charged out of the ditch in the direction of officers. A sergeant deployed his soft impact weapon a 4th time, and Officer Nguyen, who was to Mr. Chavez's right, discharged his duty weapon. Officers continued to give Mr. Chavez verbal commands, but he did not comply. He threw the piece of metal he had been holding in his hand in the direction of the officers and then grabbed the wires of the taser that was lying on the ground. Mr. Chavez started pulling the taser towards him, and when he grabbed the taser, Sergeant LeBlanc and 3 officers discharged their duty weapons at Mr. Chavez, striking him multiple times. Members of the Houston Fire Department subsequently treated Mr. Chavez on the scene. Houston Fire transported him to a local area hospital, but sadly, he succumbed to his gunshot wounds.
All right, y'all. So this is the conclusion of the video. I pulled together those quick few clips for you guys so I could just bring a little light to the situation in case y'all hadn't heard about it. This did happen a couple of weeks ago here in Houston where I live, and just wanted to kind of bring it out there in case y'all hadn't heard about it. Look a little more into the story if y'all would like to see more video. It's online. You can just Google search it. And being an officer is a taxing job, and I understand that life and death situations, it's hard to always be right, but maybe we could take this opportunity to learn and put a little more time and training into non-lethal subduing of possibly mental ill or very upset people. As times increase, it's been stressful days and stressful times, and possibly we need to work a little harder towards being able to bring a conclusion to situations as of this one with non-lethal force. And yeah, that's all I have to say about the situation, guys. Much love, and thanks for watching.